All right, Bobcat, Ladycat fans, we are here today, center court with head coach Holly Long. This segment sponsored by your local Hallsville Sonic and Roof Masters. Coach Long, how are you doing today?
Doing good.
And I know usually we're in front of kids, everything else, a little bit different atmosphere right here. But one of the things that I want everybody to know at home, Coach, you're the head basketball coach for the girls here at Hallsville ISD, is what brought you into this profession? What is it? Were you always a basketball player? How did you get to this spot, Coach?
Well, I started playing softball growing up, and but I started kind of getting into, I guess I was 7 or 8, started getting into basketball, and I used to go to the Kilgore College games all the time. Uh-huh. And funny that you should ask that, because the head coach at Kilgore College at the time is a former Ladycat. And she actually played here at Hallsville. Her name was Evelyn Blaylock.
Okay.
And she was probably what you would consider my mentor. She was my main person as far as getting into this profession and falling in love with this game. I got to do a mentorship program with her in high school and study underneath her and go to her practices, and just the wisdom that she brought in me, and how much she inspired me.
So you were a player, or is that all from the side, Coach?
Oh no, I was that high school kid that was annoying, that would hang out at the college in the gym, and she'd walk through and be like, "Hey, fix your shot. Hey, work on this."
And Coach Blaylock is mentoring like that to you. Did you start off here in Hallsville coaching, or somewhere else, Coach? Like, where did your coaching profession start?
I actually right out of college, I played at LaTurner University, but right out of college, actually went into the college coaching for about 13 years. So I coached at, my first coaching job was at Grayson County College, right north of Dallas. Yep. And then I came back to Kilgore for 1 year, and then decided to get my master's and try to kind of move up in the ranks. So I was at Sam Houston State for 2 years, and then I went up to actually Pennsylvania. It was a University, Indiana University of Pennsylvania, in Indiana, Pennsylvania. And I was there for a year, which is Division II, NCAA Division II, and then got brought back into Texas to Texas State, and I was there for 4 years. And then from there, I left and went to Rice. Coached at Rice University for 3 years.
Awesome.
What's the biggest difference between coaching college girls and the high school girls?
Well, basketball is basketball, right? So, you're still working skills, but the main difference, I think, is a lot of times at that collegiate level, you have some of those kids that already have some of those skill sets coming into your program, and you're able to kind of build your own team based on what your needs are. And so you recruit for specific positions. So if you need a rebounder, you can just recruit a rebounder instead of having to completely come in and start from scratch and build that.
Who's the next freshman coming in? That's my new rebounder, instead of recruiting.
Exactly.
And talking to the young ladies, probably a little bit different in college than in high school.
It can be a little different. But, it's the same concept. You're still building young ladies to grow and leave your program and become women, Right. And the biggest thing, I think, as far as coaching, is not only on the court, but it's that off the court, and really teaching them, about life. And, hey, these are your responsibilities, being responsible, taking care of your business, right. And those things always carry over to the court.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the court. This year, tell us a little bit about how the season's going so far.
We've had a really strong start with our first 2 games, and then it's still, I've got a lot of young guards, and so we've kind of had to rebuild a little bit this year. We've got a lot of experience and a lot of basketball IQ that we're still working on right now, but there's a lot. Every game we've improved, and we're showing a lot of promise.
So, how many young ladies you carry on the team at once?
Right now we have 11 on varsity.
What is the seniors, sophomores? What is the breakdown of your team?
I have 6 seniors. I've got one I have 6 seniors, but I have 3 returning varsity players from last year.
Okay.
I've got 1 junior, and as of right now, I have 5 sophomores.
So you're a young team.
Very young.
And does that make it more difficult for you to get them to I know the first of the season you have jitters and nerves and stuff, but is that a tough thing with a young team the first of the season?
It is because a lot of my experience is actually inside. So that's a lot of my post play. And so when my perimeter play is very, very young. Right. So, actually being able to, break a press and get the ball down in a situation you need to, and then that execution on the offensive end to where we can get the ball in the hands of that experience. Right. Sometimes,
Right. The press is probably the hardest for the young kids.
Yes.
Because we've seen it in the basketball.
Yes.
The press is, if you have a young team, they just swamp you, you're in trouble. and that's just tough to do. A veteran team does it a lot easier.
Coach, how many years have you been here now at Hallsville?
I'm going into my 7th year right now.
And you were just talking about this team this year. What makes them different than your other teams? Is it not just the youth, but what do you see in them that makes them different?
The one thing that I think probably is the most special about this team is they genuinely, just from top to bottom, the chemistry is really, really good with this team. They get along really well. Their communication is good. Their motivation, as far as, that drive to try to get better. They ask a lot of questions, and a lot of times, with young players, you have a tendency on that sideline, getting them to try to focus and practice. But all the conversation I hear on the sidelines is always, okay, what are we looking at here? Or, hey, can you explain this to me? And so they're actually trying to grow in practice rather than, like kind of scattered.
Right.
And so I feel like that's going to be a big strength for us, especially down the road.
One question real quick, Coach. Your goal for the ladies that come through your program when they leave your program, what is your goal for them? Is it just to be better women, be better basketball players? Is there a specific goal that you have in place for them?
I think that's kind of a twofold. I definitely feel like it's got to be both.
Right.
If they come in their freshman year, I definitely want to be a better basketball player by the time they leave. But, I feel like, coaching has such an impact on people's lives.
Yes.
And we're around them sometimes more than their parents. So I'm hoping at some point that these ladies, when they come into my program as freshmen and they leave as seniors, they're more prepared for college and more prepared for life.
Coach, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for the fans at home. We'll see y'all next time.